If you own a home, in this video, I can show you how you can get up to a $250,000 credit line with this credit card with the lowest interest rate guaranteed. What's up, winners? If you're new here, welcome. Here we talk all things personal finance and credit. Start out by subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. You know, real estate can be a fantastic investment, especially if your property value increases and you pay off your loan. However, compared to stocks and such, the downside is the lack of liquidity. It's a bit trickier to cash in on your gains without selling your house or taking out a HELOC. So that's why we're going to be talking about a unique credit card that merges the concept of a home equity line of credit with a traditional credit card. All right, so before I jump into the nitty-gritty of this card and whether or not it suits you, let's chat about what a HELOC is in the first place. This will give you a better grasp of how everything works since the concept is quite similar. So here's the deal with a HELOC. It's kind of like a credit line or a credit card, but for your home equity. Equity is that chunk of money that you built up by paying off your mortgage and the value of your home has gained over time. So if you bought a home a few years ago, you're probably in a pretty good position. So let's just say that you got around $100,000 in equity. You can walk into a bank and say, hey, I want a HELOC. And if everything checks out, like your credit and your home appraisal, they'll give you a line of credit for a percentage of that amount. Now, here comes the interesting part. There's usually a draw period, most common being 10 years. During that time, you can use that money whenever you need it and put it back whenever you want. But remember, whenever you have it, you have to pay some interest. And keep in mind that the interest rate may change because it's tied to the prime rate. For instance, if the prime rate is 8% and it changes to 8.5% 3 months from now, that will be the rate that you would be paying. So it's not fixed like a loan. Now, you might be wondering, what can you use this money for? Well, the great thing is that you can pretty much use it for anything that you want, investing, paying off high interest debt, or whatever you're into. However, I should warn you that you should only look for a HELOC as a short-term lending option. I wouldn't recommend doing anything longer than a year, and it's best to have an exit plan prior to going in. With a HELOC, you normally pay anywhere between a few hundred or a couple $1,000s up front just to get access. And this comes in the form of origination fees and possibly closing costs, and then you gotta start paying interest on the money that you borrow. But remember, the interest rate could potentially go up, so keep an eye on that. And here's the thing about HELOCs. You don't have to pay interest on the HELOC unless you actually use the money. No need to pay for something that you're not using, right? So if you have $100,000 in your HELOC but don't need it right away, you don't have to pay any interest on it. You can simply pull it out whenever you actually need it and put it back in when you're done. Now, getting a traditional HELOC does come with some time. It can take anywhere between 30 to 45 days or even longer, just due to the fact that the bank will have to do an appraisal on your property to make sure that you have enough equity so you can actually pull the money out. And on top of that, you gotta schedule time for an in-person notary. Now, here's where the Aven card actually comes into the picture. It's actually the first card I heard of that secures your credit line with the equity of your home. Secure credit cards are nothing new, but fintechs are getting really creative in the space, giving you more access to credit. For example, a traditional secure credit card is backed by the deposit that you put in. Now, there are other cards on the scene that are now backed by jewelry and even your car. So with the Aven card specifically, this is backed by the equity that you have in your personal, second, or investment property. Now, once you take a look at their website, once you land on their homepage, you can see that credit card in the front and home equity in the back. At the making of this video, there is a variable APR of 7.99% all the way up to 15.49%. You also get 2% unlimited cash back up to a $250K credit limit, starting at $0 to get the card, and you can get approved in as fast as 15 minutes. The great thing about this offer is that you can pre-qualify instantly. You can get an offer with your specific line size and APR without actually hurting your credit. Now let's dive into this a little bit deeper. As a 2% cashback credit card, this keeps your credit card pretty competitive with others in the space, especially if you like the simplicity of a flat rate cashback system. Now, just so you know, there are some fees if you want to withdraw cash from your card for things like home renovations or paying off high credit card debt. So if you want to cash out the available credit line, there's a 2.5% fee. For example, if you need $10,000, it will cost you $250. There are some flexible repayment options. Basically, you only pay for what you use. Now, it's like a credit card where you would have to pay back at least 1% of the statement balance plus any interest. If you do decide to do a cash out, you do have a choice to make a fixed monthly payment, which is called their Aven Simple Loan, but I won't get too much detail about that in this video. Now, even with the fees, there are plenty of people who are kind of against the idea of this card, but if you were to dive onto this a little bit deeper, I think this could be a great option for responsible homeowners. With many HELOCs out there, they typically charge an origination fee, maybe an annual fee, appraisal fee, notary fees, and possibly even a prepayment penalty to encourage you to keep it open. Of course, other banks and credit unions may have different fees, so you really need to find them. But the Aven card keeps it simple, making the whole process seamless. You can access your equity in days instead of weeks. Getting a HELOC usually takes a few weeks, but on average, it can take anywhere between 1 to 2 months. So if you're someone who needs cash ASAP, this gives you the spending power to act quickly when opportunities pop up. And you know that timing can be crucial. Now, something that you have to be aware of, similar to other HELOCs, is that there will be a lien placed on your home. This is standard for mortgage and HELOC products. So let's move on to how Aven figures out your credit line. First, you would just sign up on their website. Link will be down in the description below. Then you would just answer a few questions to confirm your identity and address. Next up, they will need to verify your income. But don't worry, they have an automatic income verification system. Once that's sorted, they'll set up a digital signing. You get to sign all of your documents online right from the comfort of your home. If you decide to complete the application, they'll pull your credit report. According to Aven, you need to have a FICO 9 score of at least 620 and a Vantage 4.0 score of at least 640 from Experian. Aven also mentioned that you're more likely to qualify with a FICO that's above 700. And also, you have to show sufficient income and keep that combined loan value under 89%. If you're planning to use Aven for a second or investment property, there will be additional requirements. Some people ask, how do they determine the value of your home? Aven says that they use an automatic system that tells them the estimated value of your home at no cost to you, unlike an appraisal. The minimum credit line that you can get is $5,000 and it can go all the way up to $250,000. But for lines above $100,000, borrowers will need to provide proof of insurance and proof of adding Aven or Coastal Community Bank as a beneficiary on the policy. To add to that, that's Aven Partners Bank, which is FDIC insured. So since my channel mainly focuses on credit and how to get better credit, let's go over the specifics on how it affects your credit. As mentioned before, they'll pull from your FICO 9 and Vantage 4.0 Experian scores. So it's best to make sure that those scores are in tip-top shape so you can get the highest possible rates and limits. Now here's something that was a little bit surprising to me. Since this card is labeled as a credit card that is secured by your equity, it doesn't get reported as a revolving line of credit. Rather, it gets reported as a home equity line of credit. While this is not a bad thing, as it adds to some diversity to your credit profile. Based on some of their customer reviews, they mentioned that their credit scores increase after switching to Aven. Now, it wouldn't be a proper review if we don't talk about the pros and cons. All right, so let's kick things off by talking about the cons first, just so we can get that out of the way. Now, even though they claim to have some of the lowest interest rates on the market, chances are you need to have a pretty solid credit profile and some other factors to qualify. So just keep that in mind. And here's another thing to consider. Just like a HELOC or any other credit card, these usually have variable interest rates. This means that your rate can be one thing this month and then change to something else. So it can be a little bit risky, especially when rates are on the rise. As you know, the current economy is a little bit shaky. With fluctuating interest rates, it's really hard to tell what the actual cost of lending will be. Another con is that there is a 2.5% fee to cash out that line of credit or balance transfers. So this can be a little bit steep for some people, because I imagine that people wanting to get access to a HELOC or large lines of credit is that they want to make some sort of large purchase. In most cases, this will either be paying off high interest debt or doing home renovations. Now, with all the cons, there are always pros. One thing that I really love about this card is just how simple it is. In just about 15 minutes, you can qualify for a credit line, so no need to wait weeks or even up 2 months for a HELOC approval. So if time is crucial for you, then this definitely could be a way to go. That being said, you can still pre-qualify through their website to check if it's worth going through the whole application. Usually, if you apply for a HELOC at a bank or a credit union, they will need to check your credit report. Again, pre-qualification does not guarantee approval, but it does give you an idea if it's worth pursuing. Another great thing is that you can actually score a pretty high credit limit, up to $250,000, which is a lot. Not many cards out there offer this. To qualify for the highest limits, you probably need to have a great credit profile and a high income. And the best part is that this card can actually earn some cash back just like a regular credit card. You get 2% cash back on all of your purchases. This feature is not available with normal HELOCs, so this is definitely a cherry on top. If you were to treat this card like a charge card, meaning that if you were to pay off your statement balance on time every single month, you would really not have to worry about interest. And lastly, it's $0 to get, $0 if you're not using it, and $0 to cancel. So when it's all said and done, this card can be a great fit for people with equity in their home, an excellent credit profile, and a need for quick cash. I think that this card will likely attract those seeking competitive rates and a speedy way to tap into their home equity. Sure, there are other HELOC options out there to consider, but it's just a matter of time and how much you value it. If you need cash fast, then this could be a great way to get it. For those who are interested in HELOCs, would you prefer the traditional route or the simplicity of the Aven card? Let me know in the comments. If you want to hang out with me some more and learn more about credit, check out these videos over here.